I didn't realize that the demon wasn't trying to jump. The demon was testing my grip. It's New Year's Eve 2013 in Poland. The midnight sky is just exploding in gold and red, but all the survivor can see is the icy concrete of the balcony, biting right through their thin socks. I want you to imagine the sheer, terrifying feeling of a man's dead weight pressing against the railing, leaning out over the edge into the black void of a freezing winter night. The realization here is absolutely chilling. The struggle wasn't a genuine attempt to fall. It was a devastating, calculated test of the victim's devotion. The trigger? It happened incredibly fast. The air inside our shared apartment had already started to turn kind of toxic, but the real nightmare began with just a sudden shift in his eyes, a darkening, this terrifying emptiness that completely wiped away the man she thought she knew. One minute, we're supposed to be celebrating the new year, and the next, the celebration ends instantly, completely swallowed by a sudden, overwhelming tidal wave of manufactured despair.
The descent into chaos is absolute. It starts with that sudden shift in demeanor. Then, a glass bottle is violently smashed right on the doorframe. And then, the frantic sprint to the freezing balcony. The sensory shock of this moment is just overwhelming. Imagine the smell of stale alcohol, the metallic tang of fierce sweat, the sound of shattered glass raining down onto the floor like jagged little diamonds. And through it all, him violently twisting his body and howling into the neighborhood, "Let me go, I'm garbage," all while the rest of the world pops champagne.
So why do we react the way we do in these moments? It really comes down to a fatal flaw. Growing up in a massive, bustling household with 7 siblings, it programs a person. It hardwires this deep, almost desperate instinct to manage chaos, to protect the pack, to put absolutely everyone else's needs before your own. It's a nurturing need to just throw your arms around someone and fix what's broken. And the abuser? They subconsciously sniffed out this exact programming. They knew exactly how to weaponize that profound empathy. The sheer exhaustion of that struggle on the ice, it happens in stages. Midnight hits, the fireworks explode, and the bottle shatters. Minutes later, it turns into a desperate physical struggle, digging your heels into the icy concrete, gripping the collar of his jacket with fingers slick with cheap champagne and blood, physically dragging him inside off the freezing ice, and then sitting on the floor with him for hours, soothing him, whispering promises into his neck that he was worthy, draining every single drop of your personal emotional energy just to stabilize his erratic storm. By sunrise, there's only a completely empty vessel, a heavy, intensely isolating feeling of being totally hollowed out by the dawn. But in that quiet morning light, there's also a mistaken belief. The survivor believed that by pulling him back from the edge, they had survived the absolute worst of it. They actually believed they had proven their unwavering loyalty. They had no idea that the real violence wasn't the struggle on the balcony at midnight. No, the real violence was scheduled for the morning.
Then the dynamic fundamentally shifts. Look at these two realities side by side. On one side, bruised hands, swept up glass, the fresh, aching trauma of the night. On his side, perfectly calm, standing by the counter, drinking a cup of tea. When she walks into the kitchen, waiting for an apology, waiting for tears of regret, he instead looks at her with genuine, unbothered annoyance.
What are you talking about? You're acting crazy. Nothing happened. Listen to me. This is not mere forgetting. This is not alcohol-induced amnesia. This is a surgical strike on a person's sanity. It is the calculated act of looking directly at a victim's bruised hands, looking right at the swept-up glass in the corner of the room, and calmly telling them the sky is green. It is the deliberate, chilling erasure of reality. Section 1. The system of abuse. Later that afternoon, his sister arrives. Imagine the shaking hope for an ally. The survivor pulls her aside, recounting the bottle, the screams, the terrifying fight on the ice, fully expecting an intervention. But instead, this is the response. Ugh, stop exaggerating. He's just sensitive. You provoke him. Think about the devastating impact of those words. Delivered with a sigh, an eye roll, and a chilling mixture of pity and contempt. In a single breath, the desperate plea for help is dismissed, and the blame is instantly shifted back onto the victim. This is the toxic ecosystem. Complicity. A network of enablers who actively neutralize panic and rewrite reality to protect an abuser. The sister's complicity is the exact moment the trap snaps completely shut. It leaves the victim huddled in a tight ball on the floor, listening to the family casually chat in the next room, coming to the horrific realization that her own empathy has been weaponized into a prison. She was entirely alone. Looking back with the cold clarity of a survivor, we see it for what it truly is: a hostile takeover of perception. That night on the balcony was not a mental breakdown. It was a calculated matrix, a system designed specifically to make the victim doubt their own defective memories. It forces the victim to tiptoe around the abuser, swallowing their own feelings and bearing their own reality, just so they don't disturb his fragile peace. Section 2. The Architect of Isolation. While the victim is busy doubting their own mind and carrying the guilt of a manufactured crisis, the abuser's mother makes her move. She capitalizes on this newly implanted self-doubt to finalize complete isolation. This is the blueprint for exile. Step 1. Blame the environment in Poland for his erratic moods, ensuring the victim feels they must agree to a change. Step 2. Pack the heavy suitcases. Step 3. Relocate completely to Germany. The mother decides the solution isn't therapy. The solution is to physically uproot their entire lives and move them across the border, severing all remaining ties.
The conditions of this relocation are devastating. Total dependency, no financial resources of her own, absolutely no social network or friends to turn to, and a complete language barrier, not speaking a single word of German. The chilling realization here is that the desperate, loving act of saving him on that icy balcony was, in reality, just buying a one-way ticket into absolute, inescapable exile.
You are not alone. I see you. If you're watching this explainer and you have ever been told that your pain didn't happen, if you've ever been made to feel crazy by the very people who are supposed to protect you, I understand. If your reality has been surgically erased, know that your memories are valid. Your experience is real. Which leaves us with this final, haunting question to consider. What do you do when the people supposed to protect you are the exact ones locking the doors from the outside? It is a terrifying reality to wake up to. If you have survived this kind of gaslighting, if you know this truth, leave a black heart emoji in the comments as a symbol of our shared survival. Thank you for walking through this dark chapter with me. Stay strong and never let anyone rewrite your reality.